Soviets won the men's division. The United States finished in 5th place. As far as the women were concerned, the Soviets won there also, and the United States gals came in 6th place. With me, our longtime expert on gymnastics, Gordon Maddox. And Gordon, as far as the Soviets are concerned, not only have they won a team title, but they're in great shape coming into the men's all-around here.
Oh, they really are. At the end of the team competition, they were in 1, 2, 3 in the all-around, and that's a pretty fast crowd. It includes Alexander Dityatin, who is not only Olympic all-around champion, but also the defending champion in the World Championship. Also, Bogdan Makuts, who won the World Cup in Toronto about a year ago. But the new kid on the block is a young man named Yuri Korolev. Yuri's most notable performance so far is winning the European Junior Championship in 1980. This doesn't really represent the true strength of the Soviet team, however. All 6 men qualified for the finals in the all-around. However, the rule states that only 3 per team can compete. So 3 of the Soviets had to drop out, which made room for other gymnasts to come in.
Should be a good battle for the gold medal. As far as the United States is concerned, the performance overall has not been that impressive, but in all fairness, in good measure, that's been due to the retirement of Kurt Thomas. We're lucky, of course, to have Kurt now as one of our colleagues. Kurt, as far as the Americans are concerned, are you at all disappointed by the overall performance?
Well, I'm a little disappointed, Al. I feel that the Olympic boycott still has some effect on our team, but I think that the fact that we have not had a major international competition in over 2 years has been a problem. But the real problem, I think, is the difficulty. We have not kept up with the difficulty in our routines, and that's where they're really hitting us.
In fact, no American is in contention for a medal right now. As you look at the standings after 3 of the 6 rotations today, Yuri Korolev of the Soviet Union with the thinnest of margins over Bogdan Makuts. Tong Fei of China is 3rd. Alexander Dityatin, hobbled by that ankle injury, is currently 5th. Now here is Koji Gushiken of Japan, the veteran gymnast, at the age of 25, mounting the Pommel Horse, currently in 4th place and trying to move up.
Well, he mounted the Pommel Horse with an A move, which is a very basic, easy element in gymnastics. All the elements are A, B, and C moves, B meaning medium and C meaning the most difficult. Now, right now, he's doing his scissors, picking up a reverse scissor. Now he'll move down to the horse with a travel down. That's a medium difficulty skill. And a dismount, which is another medium B skill.
Let's point out at the outset, in all-around competition, action is taking place simultaneously on all 6 pieces of apparatus. So we'll be moving around quite a bit today.
Now, Gushiken is probably the best pommel horse performer in the history of Japanese gymnastics. He's showing you the Thomas flare there, and he's working very high and very well extended.
Koji Gushiken picking up a 9.9 on the Pommel Horse. Half of each competitor's scores were carried in from the team competition. So Gushiken, in 4th place entering this rotation, picks up a 9.9, and now we'll see Bogdan Makuts of the Soviet Union as he gets ready to ascend the high bar. Makuts barely trailing his countryman Yuri Korolev.
There's his mount to a handstand. Right now, he'll pick up a release move. It's a front catch. Very nice. No form deduction when he regrasps the bar. Now he does a pirouette over the top. Change into inverted giants. That's a requirement on high bar. You have to have a dorsal grip where his arms are in a dorsal grip. Now another release move here. It's a Delchev or a Ginger. To release, fly over the hat twist and regrasping the bar. Now he'll prepare for his dismount, and he does a triple back dismount. 3 somersaults. Very nice routine.
And the big crowd at the Olympijski Sports Complex loves it. There would appear to be no visible flaws in that routine as Makuts tries to put the pressure on Korolev. A beautiful performance on the high bar.
And now we're going to see maybe the highest and prettiest Delchev I've ever seen. Keeps it in close to the bar. Now we'll wind up for the triple flyaway, and this is really something to watch. Notice how high he takes it and how close he keeps it to the bar. Gives him lots of time to get the rotation he needs to make those 3 rotations. Phenomenal. Makuts is hot.
And there it is, just what the crowd had anticipated and hoped for, a 10. And look at the marks on the top. All of the judges scoring a perfect 10 for Bogdan Makuts. And his total right now, 98.550. Next up, we'll see Dityatin and his floor exercise.
Oh, Edna, the Toyota.
That the defending Olympic and world champion Alexander Dityatin is hobbled by an ankle injury as he gets ready for his floor exercise. He's currently in 5th place. Here's a look, Kurt, at some of the problems he had in the floor X during the team competition.
Well, he really had to water down his routine. That's not his normal mount, and because of watering down his routine, he was deducted severely for it, and there you can see he had trouble with his ankle again.
He is currently in 5th place with 3 rotations to go. An ankle injury would probably hurt you more severely in this event than in any other.
It really would. Now here, well, here he just did a very basic mount. Just to stay on the apparatus, you must mount the apparatus, and I'm sure that's what he went out there to do. In order to compete in the individual event finals, you must mount that apparatus.
And we'll be seeing the individual event finals later this winter on ABC's Wide World of Sport. So it's quite apparent that Dityatin just wanted to remain in the competition so that he could compete in the future in the individual event.
Dityatin seriously damaged his ankle in a training session just the day before the competition was to begin. And to me, the fact that he has come this far is a real tribute to this young man's courage. That back handspring, even though it's simple, was enormously painful for him.
The judges have given Dityatin an 0.5. Of course, the routine climaxing just seconds after its inception, so his chances for a medal now are nil, but at least he remains alive for further competition in an individual sense. Right now, we turn our attention to Yuri Korolev of the Soviet Union. He will be mounting the high bar. Remember, Bogdan Makuts scored a 10 in this event to temporarily move into the lead. Korolev, to move ahead of Makuts, would now need a 9.95, a near-perfect mark for his routine here.
And this guy really reminds me of Nikolai Andrianov. He has a lot of the same body type. Here's a one-arm giant. Right now, right into a reverse hex. Very nice. Right into a giant. Now he'll turn here, change right into a dorsal grip for his inverted giant. Now he'll do another release move. It's called a straddle front catch. Very nice. Hip pirouette, ready for his dismount. He dismounts with a half-in, half-out in a layout position. Beautiful routine.
The rising star on the World Gymnastics scene, 19-year-old Yuri Korolev, the European Junior Champion and the World University Games Champion, on the high bar. Yuri Korolev needing a 9.95 to move back into the lead.
And this routine is loaded. There's the one-arm giant into an immediate reverse hex, which means he must change direction right there. Gets into giant swings. He'll take a pivot now on top and then drop immediately into his inverted giant. Now from this, he gets back out of his inverted giant, and then he'll show you a front summy to a re-catch. Now realizing that this front summy is a blind catch. He really can't see the high bar until his hands actually make contact.
The crowd, through its whistling, voicing displeasure. They expected a 10, but the score has come up, and it's a 9.9 for Yuri Korolev. And so Bogdan Makuts is now the leader with 2 rotations to go. Korolev dropping to second in the most important gymnastics competition outside of the Olympic Games. Up here on the right is the magnificent St. Basil's Cathedral with its onion-shaped dome, constructed in 1555. To the left, the Kremlin. The Kremlin walls, originally constructed in 1492, the same year Columbus discovered America. And the structures inside the Kremlin, framed against the Moscow sky, with its multitude of gilded domes. We're in Moscow for the World Gymnastics Championships taking place at the Olympijski Sports Complex. And we'll be taking a look at Tong Fei of China, his routine on the Pommel Horse in a moment as he mounts the podium. But first, let's have a look back. Earlier today, here was his routine on the high bar, Kurt. Perfection.
It really was. It's a very nice routine by Tong Fei. He does some one-arm work, very original. Pirouettes over the top from one arm to the other. Now watch this, he'll change to the left arm. Reverse hex right there. Now he prepares for his inverted giant. Late scoop in there. Invert over the top. And now he hops out, does a pirouette, and prepares for his dismount, which is a full in, full out, double twisting double. Beautiful routine.
He absolutely manhandled the apparatus. Tong Fei of China, the Chinese gymnast, by the way, visiting Moscow for the first time in 30 years, and there it was, a perfect 10 for Tong Fei. And as he gets set for his routine now on the Pommel Horse, he is in 3rd place coming into this rotation.
This is a really good event for Tong Fei. Here he travels down from one end of the horse to the other, does a travel into the middle, now breaks into his flare. Oh, had a tough break there. A little lack of concentration. Just didn't get his leg high enough for his scissors. Finishes up with his front scissors. Breaks into circles. Back more downhill. Front end. Back more uphill. Travels down for his dismount, which is loop, loop with a half off. Tough break for Tong Fei.
For Tong Fei, that one break alone enough to deny him, I'm sure, any chance for a gold medal.
Well, from top to bottom in Tong Fei's routine, he moves around the horse so much that he must really have excellent weight distribution. His shoulders must be absolutely opposite his feet at all times in order for him to make the weight changes that he needs. Now watch, his shoulders won't get far enough to the right to let his legs through. That's the problem.
And there's the mark. It's a 9.6 with that break for Tong Fei. So he has dropped behind the Japanese gymnast, Koji Gushiken now. And his chances for any medal at all are a whole lot slimmer. Now the American Peter Vidmar, who is a junior at UCLA, 13th coming into this rotation. Here he is on the parallel bars.
He has a pretty original routine. He works on one bar a lot. There's a press right through to a handstand on one bar. Pirouette in. Now watch this. He'll do a Diamond-off and a quarter right to the other bar. There's a glide kip into another straddle press. Now you're only allowed 3 hold moves on parallel bars. He's already had 2. There's a stutz to a handstand and a back toss to a handstand. And now his dismount, a double tuck. Pretty nice routine for Pete.
It was for Vidmar, 13th coming into this rotation. Peter second in the team trials at Fort Collins, the trials determining the American aggregation here in Moscow. We'll be taking a look shortly at Bart Conner, his floor exercise routine to come. And, of course, we're at the site of the 1980 Summer Olympics. We'll also be going to the site of the 1980 Winter Olympics, Lake Placid, New York, shortly for Skate America competition, featuring Scott Hamilton and Elaine Zayak. And there's the score for Vidmar, a 9.75 on the parallel bars. We'll return in a moment and visit with the star of the 1972 Olympics, Olga Korbut. Here is another captivated the world with her performance in Munich. Gordon Maddox visited with her earlier.
Gymnastics has changed very much since you were a gymnast. How do you like gymnastics now?
Maybe no.
You don't like gymnastics now?
I like gymnastics in 1972 and 1976. But now gymnastics no technical and very much elements, no plastic, no choreography. I want gymnastics very women's plastic choreography.
Better choreography, more fluid movement,
Yeah.
You're saying?
Yes.
And Olga, which do you like best, men's or women's gymnastics?
I like this men's gymnastics better.
Why is that?
Men's gymnastics very plastic, technical, and other.
Olga Korbut comparing men's and women's gymnastics. And by the way, later this winter on Wide World, we'll be seeing the women's individual finals from Moscow. Are you at all surprised by her remarks, Kurt?
Not really. I have to say that I pretty much agree with her. The men's side is a little more technical at this point.
Right now, we'll take a look at Bart Conner. Bart 10th coming into this rotation. Conner from the United States, out of the University of Oklahoma. The floor exercise for Bart here.
Well, earlier I talked about difficulty. This is where Bart has watered back his routine a little bit. Normally he mounts with a full end back out, which is a double back with a full twist. There you just see a double back somersault. Second pass, front, through to a straddle toe touch front, 1 1/4. Bart is very stylish on the floor exercise. Very smooth and elegant.
Overall, Conner not doing as well here as he did in Fort Worth. In 1979, he finished 5th in the all-around. Right now, he's 10th.
There's a double full for his third pass. Now there's a split showing flexibility. A little bobble there. Got his foot stuck on the mat and couldn't slide. Now here's a press. He goes to a V press right through to a plan. Very difficult. And moves through a handstand position. Again, now he'll do his dismount. He has a double full dismount. Last year, he dismounted with a double back. A little more difficult last year.
So Bart Conner of the United States has completed his fourth event.
Well, now watch on this front somersault through to a double full twister. He does the back handspring, doesn't quite get the double full twister around, lands a little bit short, which leaves him with a very sloppy landing.
And the judges have given Conner a 9.75 for that routine. So the standings after 4 rotations, it's very close at the top. Bogdan Makuts of the Soviet Union is the leader, just barely over his countryman Yuri Korolev. Koji Gushiken of Japan is third, and Tong Fei of China is presently fourth. This, of course, the most important gymnastics competition outside of the Olympic Games. The bank of monitors there in the commentary positions as this event is being covered in many of the countries of the world. And we'll resume our coverage of the World Gymnastics Championships from Moscow a little later on ABC's Wide World of Sports. The night for the opening ceremonies in the track and field events, and the athletes were housed there at the Olympic Village, now an apartment complex. Today we are here at the Olympijski Sports Complex, a building that was erected for the Olympics and served as the venues for both basketball and boxing. We're here for our coverage of the World Gymnastics Championships, and 5 of the 6 rotations have been completed. Just 1 event to go, and a look at the standings shows that Bogdan Makuts leads Yuri Korolev by just .025, with Gushiken of Japan currently third. I'm Al Michaels, back with Gordon Maddox and Kurt Thomas, and the thinnest of margins separating the top 2, just 1 event remaining, Gordon. Who do you like among the 2?
Finn is right. 25 thousandths, and my man is behind. I like Korolev. His difficulty is so extraordinary, his great spirit, he's a young lion, and the horse is certainly the place to decide it.
What about you, Kurt?
I don't think he's going to do it. Makuts is ahead, and I think he's going to hang in there. He's got the real desire to win. He's got a good, clean routine on Pommel Horse, and I've competed with him before. He's tough.
What was it like for you as a competitor when it came down to 1 event and it was this close?
Well, it was nerve-wracking, but this is what I like. I like the pressure, and this was something that I really, really got into. I couldn't slack off. I had to really push to win.
Interestingly, both competitors will work the same piece of apparatus, the Pommel Horse. First up, Bogdan Makuts, the leader by just 25 1/1000.
And he has a really long routine. Right here, he does 3 immediate back moors on 1 pommel. Those are back moors without any circles in between. There's another travel down to the end. Now he breaks into his flare on the end, comes back into circles, travels up to the pommel, into the middle. Now here's his scissor break. Reverse scissors, 2 front scissors. Now he picks up, preparing for his dismount. Remember I said he has a long routine. He's still going. Travel down to the end, back up to the pommel. Very nice routine for Bogdan.
No apparent break. I don't know if it's a 10 or not, but it will certainly put the pressure on Korolev. Bogdan Makuts seeking the World Championship.
Well, Kurt, I certainly agree with you. Not only is Bogdan's routine extraordinarily difficult, but it is very, very long. A typical Pommel Horse routine runs winning somewhere between 20 and 24 seconds. Makuts' routine runs a little over 30 seconds. And you know what that tells me? That he has about a third more time in which to make mistakes, which is a typical way to protect a world championship. Now, if he has any weakness in his routine at all, I'd say it's right here in the height of his hips. They really aren't as high as they should be in scissors. Other than that, it is an extraordinary routine. Magnificent.
And the judges have awarded Makuts a 9.9. That means that Korolev would need a 9.95 to capture the title. We'll see him next.
This is a strong event for him. He does a Sukahara in a layout position. Very nice ball.
That should certainly be good enough to give him the required 9.65 to clinch the bronze. Gushiken of Japan, as we take a look again.
And Gushiken will come in very low to the horse in order to get off very high. Perfect body position in the air. Simply over-rotates the ball just a tad. Otherwise, it would have been perfect.
And just 1/10 from perfection, a 9.9. Good enough to give Gushiken of Japan the bronze medal here at the World Championship. So he winds up third. And now as the competition winds down, a look at American Jim Hartung out of the University of Nebraska, 15th coming into this rotation and working the Pommel Horse.
This is probably Jim's strongest event. In a difficult mount, he does pommel loops on one pommel. Now he moves down to the other pommel, does a backmore, immediate backmore, down to the end, traveling up to the pommel and down to the end again. Strong difficulty as far as his routine's concerned, but he's not real exciting up there. He doesn't do anything very explosive, and he doesn't have the stretch that he needs. Picks back up into a flare, prepares for his dismount now, does a backmore down, loop around off.
Jim Hartung, who led the University of Nebraska to the NCAA championship. Wrapping up competition here at the World Gymnastics Championships in Moscow, and his mark a 9.9 on the Pommel Horse. So a look now at the final standings. Yuri Korolev of the Soviet Union, the winner. Bogdan Makuts finishes second, and the Japanese gymnast Koji Gushiken finishes third. As far as the Americans were concerned, Bart Connor came in 11th, Peter Vidmar finished 13th, and Jim Hartung wound up in 15th place. Let's get a closing comment from Kurt Thomas.
Well, I tell you, my man didn't make it, but Korolev was tough. His last routine, he was really strong, and he didn't have any major or minor deductions, so they gave it to him.
Gordon?
Well, even though Yuri Korolev doesn't have the experience that Makuts has, I just have the feeling that in this World Championship he was hot and had to go with the young guy.
A great battle all the way down to the end. And that's the story from Moscow. This is Al Michaels along with Gordon Mannix and Kurt Thomas saying so long from the World Gymnastics Championship.